my name. They used to call me Money Man, Danzy Fonzo, Danzy Boy.
Yo, what's going on? I am here again, the Lions Den podcast. I'm your host, Lion Danzy, and today I'm excited because I am actually sitting here today with one of my, I wouldn't say I don't like church members. That sounds so, it sounds so lame. It just sounds like something that we going to a place to do together. But this is my sister in ministry. We fight together, we battle together, we worship together, we growing together. So I'm excited today because it's the first time that I've actually had someone from the battlefield to sit down and talk about their story, man. So let the people know who you are and, you know, just a little bit of your background.
So my name is Taylor. I'm 22 years old. I was born and raised in Gainesville. I grew up in Gainesville. I attended PK Young High School, well, middle and high school. Graduated from PK, and after I graduated from PK, the year of May of 2020, I got accepted at JU in Jacksonville, Florida.
Mm.
So August of 2020, I resided in Jacksonville.
Okay, so that was right when August.
So
Yeah, that was during COVID. Yeah,
Mhm.
because COVID started to really ramp up like March, April
Right,
of 2020.
right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
hmm
Wow. Okay. Cool. So, what you do now? What's your occupation? You went to JU. What you do?
So as of right now, I'm not in school. I did not graduate at JU due to, some situations that happened. But soon I will be back in school, and I'll be,
Cool.
I'm trying to be a cardiovascular sonographer. So
Cardiovascular. Break that down. I didn't go to college, so I don't. What is that?
So basically, a diagnostic sonographer, like a sonographer that do ultrasounds of like all parts of the body. So specifically cardiovascular sonography, you're just focusing on one organ, which is the heart. So like an echocardiographer, if that makes sense.
Okay. Cool. Is that something that you wanted to do from the beginning, like when you first went, or that this is something that you done grew into?
So at first, I wanted to be a physical therapist. However, I recently got into an accident, back in 2022, April of 2022, and due to my injuries from that accident, I was informed that I wouldn't be able to work really with patients because, as a physical therapist, you have to not only, talk with patients, but you have to work out with them. You have to get them back to where they initially were.
Yeah.
So I was informed I wouldn't be able to do that. So I had to, take a detour and find another route.
Got you. So basically, discover a plan B.
Right.
Okay, I guess we can start right there. When you found that out, like, darn, because I don't know if physical therapy was like something you wanted to do since a kid, or it was just something you really interested in. But when you found out that information, I guess how did it affect you, and what did you have to do to kind of work through the disappointment of having to choose something different?
So at first, I didn't really want to listen to that, only because I said to myself, like, if God didn't tell me that I couldn't do this, then I'm not gonna let man tell me that I can't do this. However, through that journey of not being able to do what I wanted to do, I soon realized that maybe this is a part of God's plan for me. Maybe disappointment is good for me so that I can grow into the person that I need to be.
For sure.
And cardiovascular sonography is like I'm also interested in that as well.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not gonna say it really disappointed me. However, I feel like everything happens for a reason, and I got into that accident for a reason.
Yeah.
So God didn't want me on that path for a reason.
Yeah.
So it was more like a blessing
Mm-hmm.
in disguise.
Okay. Well, shoot, let's talk about that. You done said it a couple times. So what was this accident? Just, I guess, just take us through the journey of what led up to it as it was happening, and then what some of the aftermath looked like. I know you said, obviously there was some things physically wrong because they told you couldn't do. So what did the road of recovery look like? So just talk about all that.
So April 4th of 2022, I was involved in a car accident, a really bad car accident. And even though it wasn't my fault, the careless act of another driver, she hit me. It turned my car into the median, and I flipped 3 times on the other side of the road. And in that accident, a lot of stuff came about. I had to stop dancing. I had to get 2 surgeries done. I got back surgery done, and then I got neck surgery. With my back surgery, he had to take out 2 discs because I had herniations in my back and my neck, and I had to get artificial discs put in my neck. The whole from April 4th of 2022 to this year, the road of recovery was hard. Not because I couldn't dance, but like mentally, like it was hard for me because you would think that the whole thing about getting a lawyer, all that, going through all this, it just took a mental toll on me, and it was to the point where I was gonna let anyone win, like however the outcome was, and you win.
Yeah.
However, through this accident, I learned a lot about myself. I learned spiritual growth. I learned to be close, to build a relationship with God.
Yes.
I learned a lot. Even though, at the beginning of when I got into that accident, I was still out in the world, but I was still hungry for more, for more of God. When months after that, I fell into a deep depression of April 2022, December, January, deep depression to the point where I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to be alone. I wanted to isolate myself from people. It was just a lot.
Yeah.
It was just a lot.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That is a lot. But so on the Lines Den podcast, I tell people this all the time. I'm gonna get in your business. So, and then too, and the reason why is because I like to go through the storyline of it, so people can visually see in their head the things that you was dealing with. Because I feel like a lot of times when people are going through stuff, we have this weird way of making ourselves believe that we're the only one that's going through something, or the only one that's going through something like this, whatever that this is.
That's crazy because that's very crazy because at the age when I got into my car accident, I was 20 years old, and I put myself into this box, thinking oh, people my age, they're out doing what they want to do. But at the age of 20 through 22, I'm stuck in the house.
Yeah.
I can't do nothing because I'm hurt, physically injured. I gotta go through surgeries. I can't dance as of right now. And it not only affected my life within those 2 years, but it affects my life forever because of my injuries. 100%. I have permanent injuries.
Yeah.
So, but I don't regret none of it. I don't regret the accident. I don't regret going through the surgeries because I learned a lot.
Yes.
A lot through it. And like I said, it was a lot of spiritual growth that came out of this accident. And not only my car accident, but the accidents I've experienced in Jacksonville when I was out in the world, partying, drinking, doing all of the stuff of the world.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so take us to the day you cranked the car. So you cranked the car, where you headed to, what was your day going, literally take us through that day.
So that weekend, I was supposed to go back to Jacksonville because April 2022, I was back in Gainesville. So I stopped going to JU. I was enrolled at Rasmussen in Ocala.
Yeah.
So that weekend, my friends at the time, they were still in Jacksonville, and it was like one of those college parties that I was supposed to attend that weekend. So that same day of my car accident, I went to go get my hair done, preparing for that weekend.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy how this worked, because I was getting everything done, preparing for that weekend, and all of a sudden I got into that car accident. So I went and got my hair done. My mom asked me to go get her something to eat, and I was like, this happened on Newberry Road. It's happening in Gainesville.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I know what accident you're talking about. You probably talking about the accident.
I didn't know that this one with the car flipping.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that this happened in Gainesville.
Yep, it happened outside of the old, outside of the Old Mall, across the street from the Duck Pond by North Florida.
Yeah.
That's where it happened at. So my mom asked me to get her something to eat from over there. So I was up there getting her something to eat, minding my own business, left Seafood Dock, was on my way home, and out of nowhere, it happened out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't even expecting it. However, it just all I can think about is me being in that moment, how when I was conformed to the world, I would think of myself like, oh, I don't have to drive without a seatbelt. I can listen to loud music. I can do this. I can do that. Just, conforming to my, my environment, because that's what I was around in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But something told me to put on my seatbelt that day. And I don't know what it was.
I mean, you know what it is now.
But I know what it is now.
Yeah.
But I used to ride around without my seatbelt on.
All the time.
All the time. That day, after I left out of the Seafood Dock parking lot, something said, put on your seatbelt and put your phone in the center console. When I left out of Seafood Dock, on my way home, and out of nowhere, that car accident happened.
So she sounded like she T-boned you?
She sideswiped me. So she was trying to merge. So I was in the far left lane. She was in the middle lane.
Yeah.
She was trying to merge into the far left lane, but didn't see me. So she sideswiped me. So the back end of her car hit the front end of my car. And when it did that, it flipped, like my car
swerved. You went to the left on that median.
Yes.
And hit the median and
then flipped.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you flipped in the opposite with the traffic coming this way.
And you know how God worked? There was no traffic.
Man, what?
There was no traffic.
That's crazy.
No traffic at all. When I flipped and when I was and the thing about that is my car landed on its wheels and I was at a slant.
Wow, that's crazy.
My car landed on its wheels and I was at a slant. After I got out my car, that's when I seen cars come down the road and the ambulance was coming. But at the time when my car was flipping and I landed, there were no cars coming, no traffic. No traffic whatsoever. It was traffic on the other side where I was going home to. But the side of where my car was, no traffic.
Wow. That's crazy good. Not, I mean, that's a blessing because if there was traffic coming,
it would have been worse. And I think about me not having my seatbelt on too, because out of all the times I used to ride around without my seatbelt on, driving loud with loud music.
Yes.
Drive around. That time, something told me to put my phone, and I used to always drive around, people driving around with their phone in their hand, being on their phone.
Yeah.
Something told me to put on my seatbelt and put my phone in the center console. And after that, it was just that. I remember, the ambulance coming to get me. I was taken to the hospital. I remember it was the EMS dude. He asked me if I had on my seatbelt, and I told him yes. And he seen me at the time. He seen how little I was, so he told me if I didn't have on my seatbelt, he said, by the grace of God, you had on your seatbelt because it could have ended worse.
Yeah.
You could have been laid out unconscious. You could have been